Jennifer, Robeson County Sheriff Bernice Wilkins says they've arrested several people, including teens. Now, we'll learn more about those arrests within the hour. In the meantime, the 9-year-old's grandmother says that she is praying that her grandchild will just pull through.
She's laying her wrist, and that's mostly all she does. She'll wake up for a few minutes.
Regina Maldonado says her 9-year-old granddaughter, Estrella, is still fighting for her life. Estrella and her parents were coming home from Walmart this past Saturday night. Deputies say that's when someone fired shots into their car along Moss Neck Road. This is a picture of the car's back windshield all shot out.
My grandbaby did not deserve nothing. Nothing. My daughter, she didn't deserve this.
Estrella and her 41-year-old mother were hit. The mother is okay, but Maldonado says Estrella isn't out of the woods despite being taken off the ventilator.
It's a good thing she's resting. I just pray that everything goes well.
She tells me she's relieved that several people have been arrested in the shooting. Maldonado says she hopes officers will solve all the crimes along Moss Neck Road, including an incident where her son was nearly shot outside their storage building.
My son was standing there, and just so happened he walked away from the building. If he hadn't walked away, him and a friend's son, there ain't no telling which one the bullet would have got.
Says that more information is forthcoming in the shooting that happened this past Saturday on Moss Neck Road in Pembroke.
Yeah, Jen, the Professional Firefighters Association of South Carolina hosted a rally where more than 24 retired Myrtle Beach city workers showed up to protest. They shared the strain that it will bring to them if they lose their benefits.
What I felt was total betrayal. When I was hired, I was promised benefits, for life.
In August, Jason Koshin and other retired city employees got a letter telling them their health benefits will end on January 1st.
It's very stressful knowing that I gave 25 years to the city. It's not just me that gave up a lot of things, it was my family as well. And now it's like thanks for nothing.
At today's Fairness for First Responders rally, retired city employees called this the second blow. City employees used to get lifetime health benefits if they worked for 25 years. But in 2009, the city changed its policy to provide $100,000 to each retired worker to cover insurance premiums until Medicare starts at age 65.
Even though we did our time with the city, we gave our bodies to the city. The only thing we're asking for is just the benefits that we were promised in the beginning, which they've already changed.
Now, faced with losing benefits entirely, current and retired firefighters share the toll the job takes on them.
Most people in the fire service, that's a young man's game. Guys retire out 45, 50 years old, and you don't get Medicare till 65. You've got to fill in the gap somewhere.
Sharing personal testimonies in front of city council, retired firefighters emphasize the stress of the job lasts for years after they retire. So taking away their benefits will leave them with one option.
The way I look at it, I will have no choice but to find another job, a job with benefits, so I could take care of myself and my wife.
After hearing the testimonies, Myrtle Beach Mayor Brenda Bethune agreed to review the decision.
So what I would like to ask the fellow council is that we continue this in another workshop. So we're not promising that there will be any changes. What we are promising is that we will explore.
City spokesman Mark Crua said in a statement, quote, "Since more affordable and comparable coverage is available for them from the private market, the decision was made as part of the budget process to no longer offer that option to pre-age 65 retirees." The retirees say they've been given a different health coverage option, but it would cost nearly double. The deadline to accept that plan is in December.
Jennifer, it certainly is. I have been bombarded all day with calls, text messages, and emails about this purple and gold building behind me, behind Bennettsville Intermediate School. Now, some board members say the building was a mobile classroom in the past. It was auctioned off along with several others after the renovations at the school. Board member Michael Coachman says Omega Psi Phi fraternity bought the building from the person who initially bought it at the auction. The fraternity never moved the building, and it has remained on school property. property. Coachman tells me the building is still connected to the district's power and water lines, so the district foots the bill. Things got really heated at last night's board meeting after some residents complained about that fact. Coachman says the board had no knowledge of it and voted to have the Omegas remove the building from their property as soon as possible.
We just can't allow fraternity house on school premises, because if you do that for a fraternity, you have to do that for any other organization that wants to come in. And we're in the education business, not fraternity and frat houses.
Gregory Kane spoke at last night's board meeting on behalf of the fraternity. Kane says the building is not a frat house, but a mentorship center. He says they have a partnership with the district to mentor students. Kane told board members that this fraternity has only had one meeting at the building. He says this is a place where they help students, and that's it. He says it is not a party house. Now, coming up tonight on ABC 15 News at 6, you're going to learn who okayed the fraternity's operation right here on campus.
Yeah, Jennifer, well, under the ordinance, builders who want to fill in wetlands and flood-prone areas for new development will have to add in ways to store water for that flooding or stormwater, like retention ponds you see here, or ditches or canals of the like. But this week, a discussion is being had that some areas of the county that are at flood risk may not need those new requirements. When it comes to developments that fill in wetlands,
we can't do it at the expense of our existing families and businesses.
Following FEMA guidelines, Horry County passed its revised flood damage prevention ordinance. Its enforcement has been delayed, however, and now, even before its November effective date, more changes may come.
What is being considered, though, we have grave concerns about.
April O'Leary is a flood victim advocate. She's talking about two considerations sitting on a county committee agenda this week. They target the flood zone areas set by the Hurricane Florence flood level.
The whole purpose of mapping the supplemental flood zone was to be able to mitigate flooding on these lands. So to not have any regulations on these lands that addresses mitigation is really concerning for us.
The actions would take out the compensatory floodwater storage requirement in the area. It could lead to demands for retention ponds or drainage ditches included in that construction zone. And it could also reduce how far above base flood level a home can be built. And O'Leary says this leaves homeowners vulnerable.
What we really need to make sure is that new construction is in a place or designed in such a way that it will not flood.
County documents say the proposed change to how high a home must be built above the floodplain will not impact the county's insurance incentive program, but there's no reasoning listed for taking out the water storage requirement. Now, I reached out to county staff as well as every county council member on this committee. The ones that did get back to me told me they were not aware of those considerations yet.